Hey, good morning.
Sure.
I'll keep it really quick. I know you're busy. Two things. You're working tonight. What time?
2:45.
2:45. Great. I'll talk to you at work.
Alright, see you at work.
Am I late?
I mean, potentially, but I'm an incredibly lightweight and I don't feel like throwing up again because of alcohol. I've already done that
When did you
thrice.
throw up again? Be safe.
I'll try. Okay, well, it's that time now. It's me, I'm back again. This time worse than kind of ever. I'm failing all of my class. Actually, I don't have any classes now since I withdrew from them like 4 days ago, I think. Cause, let's see, so last year I was still going for graphic design. I was living in my college's dorms, and I was struggling with school. I wasn't really passing anything. I was just losing interest in everything, so I changed my major to computer science at the end of the spring term because I couldn't continue on with graphic design, at least not for another year theoretically, because I failed so many classes I would have had to spend another year retaking them. But then I still wouldn't have been able to do the sophomore portfolio review, just because. Well, I mean, I now in retrospect, I guess I could have, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure everything out. The past 2 years really kind of burned me out with school and graphic design. I always had anxiety about getting to the Zoom classes just like 1 or 2 minutes late because it pops up your name, there's a little chime bell, and everyone's like practically notified that you're joining late. And sometimes the teacher even says, "Hi!" And whereas like in person, when you go in the room and you're 5 minutes late, you get to see how many people turn to look at you. You can't really tell that on Zoom. But it ended up giving me a lot of anxiety, and I ended up skipping over a lot of the live classes, and I was telling myself I would just watch the Zoom recordings after the fact. Well, the issue is that like half the teachers weren't actually uploading the Zoom recordings. The school was requiring that they record them, and they were supposed to be uploading them, but I guess I don't know. And also I just couldn't actually bring myself to actually watch those videos because I was just so tired constantly after work because everything was burning me out, and like I had no actual in-person, like person-to-person contact outside of work really, and having my only in-person contact being tied to work was not really working for me, and it just made me burnt out. So I changed my major to computer science, and I had the fall term, and fall term was kind of alright-ish. I registered for 3 classes. I did computer science 161, I did math 112, and I also did a university studies. The university studies was supposed to be an asynchronous online class, and I thought that maybe I could do that if I had some other structure in my life, given like with the in-person classes. Well, I got to the second week of the term, and I realized that I was not really paying attention to the class. I wasn't really attending it or anything, so I withdrew myself from that. Happened to be the day after the cutoff date for not having the W on your transcript. I think also the day after I could have gotten a 100% refund as well. So I did good on that. So I only got a 70% refund and a W on my transcript. And then my math class I didn't do all too bad in. I got a 69.8 or something like that. I was like 0.02 percentage points away from actually passing the class. And I could have gotten those if I had done more of the homework assignments, but the homework assignments were online, and they were frankly fairly tedious to go through because it was just it was. I understand that like you have to do you have to repeat things to be able to like memorize them to actually be able to kind of learn the concept. It's just there would be like 17 homework questions, and about 8 of those would be the same very convoluted multi-step process to find the answer. Well, if you didn't get it right, or like you were off by like just a little bit, or like you didn't type in the proper syntax, then it said you were wrong on that. You had to restart that, and you're like, okay. So that, and also since I now have my own apartment, and I spend too exorbitantly, I have to work at least 32 hours a week. And because I moved out of the student dorms, yeah, I have my own apartment that's like 2 blocks north of the campus, and it's really nice, I guess. It wasn't all that great when I moved in. It was messy. The building manager didn't tell me that there were some unfinished items in my apartment. He just handed me the keys. smiled at me and my mother, and let us walk up here by ourselves. And we opened the door, saw a bunch of mess, like a giant mess on the wall in my kitchen. The floor was covered in dust. The bathroom sink was broken. The toilet seat was all messy and stained. There's several patches on the wall that aren't color matched. I got a 5-gallon bucket. I use that as my trash can. I use an 8-gallon bag in there, and it really upset some people, and I'm not quite sure why. It's just a bin that you put a trash bag in and you throw your trash in. I don't understand why I have to spend $20 on a black plastic bin. 5-gallon bucket works. But yeah, I was kind of overworking myself a little bit, and I kept coming home really tired, and I didn't really have the motivation, even on my days off, even like when I was like just going directly to my classes and coming back home. I still didn't really have like the motivation to actually go online and do the assignments. Like I would sit down and do them. I got I think about 2/3 of the homework assignments actually done. It's just I didn't do enough, and I also didn't do well enough on the tests. I got C's on the tests. So, but yeah, I needed to do more of the homework assignments, and apparently the teacher gave me an extension for one of the homework assignments on the very last week. It's just, he notified me about that on the platform that the homework assignment was posted on, and that platform does not send an email to your actual email. It sends you an email to that platform's email, and the only way that you're notified of said email is through a little one on a bell icon up in the corner, but that one is always there if you do have unfinished assignments to do. And I always had unfinished assignments to do, so yeah, I finally read that email on the very last day of the term, when grading was due, and the teacher said that he was shutting down shutting off access to the homework website. And I also had work that day as well. I think I read it like 30 minutes before I had to go to work, and I said, okay. So, yeah, I got a D in the class, which in high school is passing, in college is not. My computer science class, though, I passed that with like a 95%. So that was all great, that was all good. And then come to the winter term, I registered for Computer Science 162, Math 256. I also registered for another University Studies class. So I go to the first week in person. I was like 10 minutes late to the very first day of the math class. Then the math class is 4 blocks away from my University Studies class, and we're supposed to have 10 minutes in between, but my teacher for the math class took the class until 55 instead of 50, and so I only had 5 minutes to get to the University Studies class, and it was in a bit of a convoluted part of the building, and that made me late, and I started making myself self-conscious about joining the Zoom meetings late, and that carried over to the in-person classes because I haven't had in-person classes for like 2 years now. So then, after the first week, we get like 2 or 3 emails saying that there were positive COVID cases in like every single one of my classes, and that happens for all of the rest of my college, and everything goes online for the next 6 weeks. And I'm like, okay, I'll just I'll do what I did. I'll like, they were morning classes as well, and I keep being scheduled for closing shifts, so I was really tired, and it was harder for me to wake up in the morning, and so I just kept telling myself, alright, I'll just skip this Zoom class, I'll watch the recording later, and I'll catch up on the homework. Surprise, surprise, that didn't really work. I never actually went back to watch those classes. I tried doing the homework, I actually did try watching some of the classes, actually, but it did not really work. I tried getting caught up, and then I realized it was going to be a lot more work than I thought it was originally going to be. I ended up withdrawing myself from all of my classes, because I realized I was going to fail them. I have a GPA of like 2.54 right now, and I feel like if I did fail all my classes, like if they were actually to go on my transcript as that, it would drop me too low. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I don't really care to do the math to properly find out. And I also don't really want to find out the hard way, so I just withdrew myself. So I get a W, but it doesn't actually affect my GPA. I don't know, I've also been threatened quite a few times recently at work and been called quite a few slurs. Work has been stressing me out. I was feeling bad about myself and, like, frankly kind of shitty about school. And I just haven't also really been talking to that many people either. Because, like, 2 years of not actually really talking to people face-to-face, you kind of, only interacting with them at work, you kind of lose your social skills a little bit. I wasn't really able to talk to people in my classes, and, yeah, it was not good. So, yeah, I've been frankly struggling quite a bit mentally. I still have not told my grandmother that I withdrew myself from my classes. I mean, she knows that I've been struggling, but she doesn't know that I've actually failed classes. I just keep telling her that I've been struggling with, and she knows that I've been thinking about taking a pause. I mean, in retrospect, I should not have gone back to school last year. I should have taken the year off so that I wouldn't have gotten so burnt out with everything, so I wouldn't have wasted another $20,000. I keep getting told it's not wasted, and I keep getting told it's not about the money, but that's the main thing I can honestly focus on, and I need to, I don't know. Then everyone keeps telling me I need to talk to someone, find a therapist or some shit, and I'm like, I know, but no one actually helps me find them until 2 days ago. I got home from work, and I went to go hit my dab pen, because the dab pen makes my head numb and stops all the negative thoughts pretty much. I couldn't find it. Turns out it slid behind my bed, so I instead started drinking some of the margarita mix, hoping that would make me numb, but then I drank too much and it was not a good night. I started thinking that I was an embarrassment to everyone and everything, and it's not that I'm just a disappointment. I'm also an embarrassment and shit like that. And it was bad. It was bad. I had another person tell me that I needed to talk to someone, and I said, "Well, no, duh. But you're not gonna help me find anyone, are you? So go fuck yourself." And he was like, "No." He said that he worked in his job was helping people find the assistance that they need, or directing them to the care providers that they need or some shit. So he actually looked that up and he gave me a list of therapists in my area that are within my insurance network. So yeah, now I have that list, I have that website, I just need to actually go through and find which person has the skills says that they focus on the area that I need, but I don't really entirely know what area I need, so he more have just told me to find someone who seemed appropriate at first, go to them, see what they say, see if they say that they think they're fit to help me, and if not, move on to the next person. But then, furthermore, my health insurance I'm currently getting it through work through my union because it's $12 a week, whereas my actual regular health insurance would be $250 a month. Through the union, it has a $400 copay. The $250 insurance that I was able to find through the Affordable Care Act marketplace thing, it had a $2,500 deductible. I think it had a $10,000 deductible. I said, that's not helpful. I don't want to work at my store anymore. I don't want to be there anymore. I want a non-customer facing job. Turns out though, those are kind of harder to find, especially when you don't have any proper marketable skills at this point. So I feel kind of stuck in a rut. But the thing is also, if I do get a new job, I would want it to pay about the same that I currently make, and I make 15 cents less than $20 an hour. I would need to also be able to have health insurance and stuff like that, because if I didn't, how do I afford a therapist? Because a therapist is about $120 a session on average, and if I'm going to them weekly or bi-weekly, I don't know how I would properly afford that. So, welcome to the American healthcare system. I love it so much. That being said, I'm also trying to make myself be more active so that I'm moving around more so that I can actually be happier, because moving, the movement, exercising releases endorphins, and endorphins make you feel good, so I'm going to be trying that. And there's also the new Nintendo Switch Sports game that Nintendo's releasing in April 29th. Yeah, I pre-ordered it. I'm going to try playing that because I really liked Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. I like those, especially the sword game. So hopefully that'll be enjoyable for me, and that can make me exercise and be healthier. I mean, I do average about 8,500 steps a day, over the past year, because I move around so much at work, but that's not high intensity, that's just walking around for 8 hours, 9 hours. I don't want to be sad, but I am sad. And I don't, I shouldn't be sad, I don't know why I'm sad, but I am. And, yeah, it's super fun. I'm enjoying everything so much, And do I say I love it? I think I can, but I don't think I could. So, at least my plants are still kind of living.